Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Stargazer97. Thanks for the suggestion, Stargazer. You asked, how did the Milky Way get its name? At first, Milky Way sounds more like a candy bar than a galaxy. But long before telescopes or chocolate, people looked up at that glowing band of light in the sky and thought, that looks like spilled milk. And somehow, that name stuck. Let's find out how our galaxy got its sweet, milky name. Right here on Explaining Everything. The Milky Way's name actually goes way back, like thousands of years, before telescopes, before science, before anyone knew what a galaxy even was. When ancient people looked up at the night sky, they saw that faint, glowing band and thought it looked cloudy, milky, or misty. Since they didn't have words like interstellar gas or billions of stars, they described what they saw using what they knew, milk. The term Milky Way comes from the Latin Via Lactea, which literally means Milky Road. The Greek version is Galaxius Kyklos, which means Milky Circle. And yes, that's where we get the word galaxy. So technically, our galaxy is the galaxy. It's like naming your dog, Dog. The Romans probably didn't intend it to sound like a space dessert, but the name stuck because, to the naked eye, the Milky Way does look like a pale, milky ribbon stretching across the night. Imagine you're an ancient farmer lying on your back after a long day. No light pollution, no smartphones, just stars. You look up and there it is, a glowing trail across the sky. It's mysterious, beautiful, and slightly confusing. Of course, you'd want to explain it somehow. And that brings us to the myths. Now, if there's one thing the ancient Greeks loved, it's making every natural phenomenon about their gods. And the Milky Way? No exception. According to one of their myths, the Milky Way was created from Hera's breast milk. Yes, really. Here's how the story goes. Zeus, being Zeus, had another child out of wedlock, this time with a mortal woman. The baby was Heracles, or Hercules in Roman terms. Zeus wanted his new son to become immortal, so he snuck baby Heracles up to Mount Olympus to drink milk from the goddess Hera, his actual wife, while she was sleeping. Hera wakes up, sees some random baby chugging her divine milk, and, naturally, freaks out. She pushes him away, and milk sprays across the heavens, creating the Milky Way. And just like that, boom, cosmic dairy art. It's a wild story, but to the Greeks, it was poetic. The heavens themselves marked by a trace of the gods. And honestly, it's one of the few origin stories that involves literal lactose intolerance. Other ancient cultures had their own takes too. In some African legends, the Milky Way was the ashes of a celestial fire. In parts of Asia, it was a river of stars dividing the sky. And in Norse mythology, it was called the Path of the Warriors, a road leading to Valhalla. Meanwhile, the Greeks were out here saying, "Nah, it's spilled milk." Fast forward to the 1600s, and astronomers were finally ready to take a more scientific approach. No gods, no milk, just math and telescopes. When Galileo pointed his telescope at the Milky Way, he discovered something mind-blowing. That fuzzy streak wasn't a cloud at all, it was countless stars. Tiny, distant stars, packed so closely together that they looked like a continuous glow. He didn't call it the spilled star soup, though. The name Milky Way had already been used for centuries, and it just stuck. Even as science advanced and people learned what galaxies really were, Milky Way was too iconic to change. Then, in the early 20th century, astronomers realized that our Milky Way wasn't the entire universe, as many once thought. It was just one galaxy among billions. Imagine that. We named our galaxy after a dairy product, and then found out it's just one in a cosmic supermarket full of others. Somewhere out there could be a galaxy that calls us the Milky Blob. But the name still holds a sort of charm. Milky Way sounds peaceful, dreamlike, almost comforting. You could say it's a perfect example of how human imagination and language survived the transition from mythology to science. What's really cool is how the Milky Way's name has shaped the way we talk about space. Remember the Greek word galaxias? From that, we got galaxy. So every time we mention galaxies like Andromeda or sombrero, we are literally using a word that came from milk. In other words, the universe's vocabulary was born from spilled milk. And that's kind of poetic, isn't it? Something that started as a myth about divine dairy now helps scientists describe the vastness of the cosmos. From Hera's angry breastfeeding moment to modern astrophysics, it's all connected by the same pale streak in the night sky. Even today, if you go far enough from city lights and look up, you'll see that faint milky glow and understand why ancient people reached for the word milk. It's soft, bright, and strangely alive. And once you know the story, it's impossible to look at it without thinking, wow, the universe is literally named after a goddess's sneeze of milk. From spilled divine milk to telescopic revelation, the Milky Way's name is a reminder of how we humans mix wonder with storytelling. We gave meaning to what we saw even before we understood it. And honestly, for a name that started as an ancient misunderstanding, it's held up pretty well for a few thousand years. So, next time you see that cloudy band of stars stretching across the night sky, remember, you're looking at the reason our galaxy is called the Milky Way, and maybe the universe's oldest dairy disaster. If you enjoyed this video, or if you are now looking up at the night sky and just admiring the beauty of the cosmos, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other binge-able channels. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.